What is going on, YouTube? We're back past the prop with NFL wildcard weekend. 6 total games. We will talk about all 6 of them here. I'm not going to push off that Monday one. We're going to go right into it. Join as always, my guy Stu. What's up, man?
Nothing much. It's the best time of the year. It's truly the time of the year where we get all these good playoff football games. We have some of the best action available to us, a huge slate. I mean, man, we're not going to have this for much longer. It's just fun to be able to theorize, argue with people. I know everyone's got different opinions on who's winning, all that stuff. So I just love this time of year. I love how into it everyone is. The gambling community, the regular sports community, everyone's fired up right now. So it's best time of year to make a little bit of money on the side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As we speak, I am doing a playoff best ball, doing my drafts, getting all that stuff ready for this weekend. I mean, I've been in some weird drafts. This one, I just got Tyreek Hill in round 5. What the hell is going on? How is this guy dropping there? You know, it's just finding some spots, tons of money to be made this weekend. It should be fun. Let's pull up these games. How do you want to do this today, Stu? You want to go game by game, or you just want to go props? Is there something we just want to go over quickly?
I mean, we can go game by game. That's probably, makes them. I didn't know if there were too many games. I tend to ramble.
That's what I mean. Usually like 4. Usually like 4 is a good spot for.
Yeah. Well, how about we go to our props, and then if anyone have questions, then we just go through games like that. I feel like that's probably the best way to do it, and also a good time to ask people right now. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them right now. We will get to them over the course of the show. And as we know, it is a Friday, 1 p.m. middle of the day. We know not everyone can be here live, but hey, we're here 24/7, baby. So if you got questions, drop them in the comments below. We will still get to them. Okay, we don't discriminate, not just the live comments. We got everyone's back here. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them, because as you know, there is a shit ton to talk about this week.
Yes, I will. I will put this out there, though. At least while the show is going until the end. I'll let you maybe at the end sprinkle a few. Let's keep it on that NFL. We won't be talking NBA. College basketball. I know you guys want to talk about college basketball. I love college basketball. Let's wait till the weigh-in, because we're going to be in football mode here for this round and attacking it this way. So I know you guys got questions around the whole entire sports world here today. We'll stick with NFL just for this. Then at the end, if you got anything and we have any opinions on it, we'll get to it. Just want to get that out there, because you know when you get in the zone, you keep rolling, man. It's tough to just be like, whoa, I'm on the other side. It's just like a big flip, you know.
Oh yeah. We got you. We got everyone. But this NFL show, that's what Fridays are for, baby. It's for NFL, so we're locked in right now, ready to go.
Yes, sir. Let's kick it off here. I'm gonna look just at the times there. Okay. Oh, hey, you already know, bro. You already know. I'm in on that. Signing me up for some Ben Coles this week in DFS, bro. I'm in the weeds, bro. We out there. All right. Let's get it started here, Stu. I don't think either one of us for the show have plays in the first 2 Saturday games. So we'll just go into Sunday here, talk those props, and if you guys got questions on the Saturday spots, we will get it going. First game on the docket is that Bills-Steelers game. You are going to have a spot in that one. I'll let you take it away. 22 live viewers. Hit that like button.
We're going right into it immediately. Josh Allen over 8.5 rush attempts, currently at -128 over on FanDuel Sportsbook. This is going to be 9.5, 100% across the board by tomorrow. So it's obviously in your best interest to act as quickly as possible. I got this at plus 100 last night. I was hoping it would stick around, but obviously the markets are moving very fast. It's playoffs. It makes sense. But I would get this at 8.5 while you can. Like I said, FanDuel Sportsbook has it. A couple other spots. MGM is 130. That's also perfectly fine right here. One thing I like, and as you guys know, I played the quarterback rushing a decent amount. It's one of my favorite markets to attack. And it's because there's so many different ways you can go about it, right? There's bets on volume. There's bets on efficiency, right? There's a lot of different factors that play in right here. But what I really like is that Josh Allen and this new offense has been really rush heavy recently, right? They took over new offensive coordinator. We had some drama midseason. Since then, it's really been like the James Cook and Josh Allen show, and not in the traditional way we'd expect of, 40-yard bombs, dump downs, all that stuff. No, we're running the ball. We're controlling the pace. They've actually been one of the slowest teams in football since this offensive coordinator shift. But what I like specifically about Allen right here is something that we've talked about a lot over the years. This is a guy that when it's playoff time, when the intensity is the highest, when the lights are the brightest, the stakes are the highest, that's when a guy like Josh Allen steps up. And that's when we've really seen the rush attempts skyrocket through the roof. We always talk about it. I want a quarterback in a winning, like I want them against a winning team. I want them against a good team. We don't want to play quarterback rushing against the Panthers. We never want to do that because what's the incentive for a quarterback to take it hit, right? To take that, mileage off of his body, off his career, put himself at risk for a couple extra yards. The playoffs is the time of year where that's happened. And there's also been a pretty distinct shift since the offensive coordinator change, in my opinion. In the new, I don't know if we want to call it, I don't know if Buffalo has something different. They're using the tush push now as well. They started using it very heavily over the last couple of weeks. You probably noticed he had 15 rush attempts last week. That's not all designed volume. They consistently, in short yardage situations, switch to this kind of tush push modification where they have, I believe it was Leonard Fournette or Reggie Gilliam behind him a lot of the time, and just actively pushing right behind to that left side. They talked about it a lot on the broadcast. It was something that they've very aggressively done in the second half of the year and something that they didn't do as much earlier in the season. And what I like about that is we have proof. We have proof of concept that the sportsbooks are not quick at catching up. Jalen Hurts is the example. We did this essentially last year, and then all the first half of this season, where they were not accounting for essentially 3 to 4 free rushing attempts per game. Throw away designed runs, throw away your cool, flashy play action scrambles. I'm talking about a 4 to 5 baseline for a guy like Josh Allen, just based on these short yardage situations. And I haven't even talked about the weather yet. It's looking like this is going to be an absolute mess. Sustained 25-mile-an-hour winds, gust up to 50 miles an hour. It's only getting worse. We're now seeing more reports that snow is actually going to be a bigger factor. Additionally, or at first, we only thought this might be a huge wind thing, but now it's looking like everything. So in a situation where even Josh Allen, a guy that we know can throw the ball even in the toughest conditions, they're going to be forced to run the ball more. There's just no other choice, right? It's one of those situations where you kind of have to. And the way I see it, the way they were using him last week, they were running in those third and short situations. I don't see how we don't see like 40 third and shorts in this game when you can't throw the ball down the field. It's all going to be slowly, progressively moving the ball. We've seen James Cook open at 13.5 rush attempts, up to 15.5 across the board. We're already seeing Allen move. It's going to steam up more. We've seen the team total rush attempts move up 1 or 2 already. It's clear this is going to be a run-heavy plan of attack. For me, I think Allen has a lot of success in this one. Definitely love getting this in right here.
Beautiful, Terrence, always helping us out there. We appreciate you. Yeah, can't hate on it. I mean, the weather is going to be wild. If it's anything like I have here right now, bro, it's going to be impossible to throw a football, bro. It's like 30-mile-an-hour winds, sideways snow. It's awful here right now. Just to kind of give you context on, I don't know how many of you guys are Midwest guys, but yeah, it is not very nice right now. So talking about that Midwest, going to the second game on that day, I'm going to my boy. We're going back to Jordan Love completions. If you've been following me for a while, you've seen I post this every time Sunday Night Football comes around. Packers have been on there 3 times. Immediately, that button is clicked. I'm going to Jordan Love completions. And here's why. These last 8 weeks, since I was there, right, at that Chargers game, right, we have just seen a complete change in how this offense finally works, right? And as much as I would like to say it was because of me, I won't say that. But it was because Aaron Jones had that really bad injury in that game, right? He really hurt his knee really bad. And when you take out a playmaker, a dynamic player like him and Christian Watson, who ended up hurting his hamstring in the same game, both of them go out, you got to put it on your quarterback. You got to have him be more reliable. And that's what we end up having to do. You end up seeing Jordan Love have to turn into that short passing game as our running game, right? That had to turn it into that. You early on in the season, I was calling LaFleur a terrible coach because he wasn't switching his scheme to what Jordan Love does well. Beginning of the season, Jordan Love was chucking that ball 30 yards down the field every single time. Now you're starting to see those crossing routes. The deep pass is the deep crossers with Melton, with Jaden Reed. Mind you, all these dudes are rookies. All these dudes are not guys that you planned on seeing doing anything, right? Bo Melton was a practice squad guy up until 3 weeks ago, and now this dude is now leading the team in receiving over these last 2 weeks. So he's hit it in 6 of 8. One of those games, he ended up on 22 completions. The ADOT is a little bit lower, but also you have very good yards after the catch guys who allow you to still have pretty decent yardage numbers. I still want to go here, though, because when I look at these teams that got pressure on Jordan Love, right, the Vikings, how much they blitz him, hit it in both games, 24 completion. Look at Kansas City and the Chargers. Both of them put pretty good pressure on Jordan Love and it made him get rid of that ball quick. 25, 26 completions in those two games. This is a spot where you're having to worry about Micah Parsons. You're going to have to worry about those. But all four of those games I just mentioned, he had under an 8 yards average per catch in distance. So we're going to be living underneath. Yes, I do think we can break a couple. I think obviously you got Jaden Reed, who just had 2 40-yard receptions in the same game, just pure yak. But you know what you got to do? You can't try to go into those 5-step drops every time when you got Micah Parsons on the outside just absolutely killing. I think that the underneath dump-offs to Tucker Kraft are going to be there because he's going to have to chip those 2-yard passes. That's been a huge addition as well. Luke Musgrave is healthy now, playing as well, so you could see some 2 tight end personnel in there. So I think these underneath routes are going to have to be important. I expect them to be losing. I think this defense gets, and I will say it nicely, completely eviscerated. I will use that word, that they will absolutely nuke this defense. And I think it's going to be fast. I think they're going to pass it down the field, absolutely destroy us, and get that ball immediately back to Jordan Love because I don't think we're stopping them once. Sign me up for Jordan Love. Huge step-up game, I understand. First game of his playoff career. I'm excited to watch it. I don't think it goes as well as a lot of Packer fans do think it goes, but I think Jordan Love still puts on a show like he has the last 8 weeks.
Yeah, no, I like the spot a lot. I mean, I like Jordan Love. I like his ability to pass the ball downfield, but you kind of nailed it. There's been a clear adjustment in the second half of the season of like, yeah, of course we can throw the ball down the field, but we need to control the tempo a little bit better. We need to make sure that we're balancing out these deep plays with more short and intermediate stuff. And that's exactly what they've done. And additionally, like you said, they've been playing good football with like some really injured wide receiver rooms. I mean, we talked about Melton a lot. We didn't even get a line for him. I mentioned his name like 40 times on the show, and I didn't get a line for him last week. You know, it's one of those situations where like we're talking about like undrafted free agent rookies that are coming in and immediately making an impact. I mean, who would have really mentioned any of these guys? Wicks, that wasn't on anyone's radar before the season. So I think it shows you, you know, the talent on this team. It's impressive what they've done. The coaching has been really good. But at the end of the day, you kind of nailed it. This is a terrible matchup right here. I mean, this is a team that's going right at you 100 miles an hour. They're bringing pressure. Parsons is going to be there. So to combat that, the play calling is going to have to adjust. We're going to have to see the tight ends in the short passing game. We're going to have to see Aaron Jones heavily involved in the rushing and receiving game. It's going to be a team effort right here. I love Reed. I'm a big fan of his as well. So I hope he keeps it moving, but definitely like the spot right here.
Yeah, no, I'm on I never thought I'd say this. I'm using it as a Bet Rivers, and they have a book down here that kind of connects with that. And it's still sitting at minus 120. I would play them if it would give me a little more than plus 100 on that 23.5. I would probably sit at 22.5 on that line. I'll adjust that line then right now. We do adjust it when it goes bad, and we do adjust it when it goes there. So I'm looking at Rivers at minus 120. I don't know if MGM is at that same line, but I'm on it right now looking at it. I would play it up to that. I would do that minus 130 on FanDuel, I think. I would prefer to do it on FanDuel at the minus 130 line versus that extra completion, unless they give me like plus 110 or more value on that than just the straight spot there. But those completions, man, they're tough, man. You're sweating every single one of those. So I would prefer to stay away on that from doing having to go an extra one.
Yeah, I agree. I talked about it. I put out Shroud rush yards the other day. Like in some of these markets, just moving up one like matters so much. You know, it's very important to scale your units as necessary as well. Like if you still like the 23.5, like that's fine. Just bring it down to a half unit stake. That way, you're adjusting for the line movement right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't think we see any questions yet in the chat. So we will get on to plays 3 and 4. Looking like we're in the same game for both of those guys. And I'll kick it over to you to start us off. And then hopefully we'll see some questions and some other stuff in the chat here shortly.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Reynolds is an interesting one right here. I know it's not going to be a name that maybe jumps off the page to a lot of people. It may not. Obviously, all this narrative stuff is going on right now. Josh Reynolds probably the only narrative no one's talking about right here. He gets to also face his former team with his former quarterback in Jared Goff right there. Not that I actually think that factors into this game whatsoever, but it is just a cool storyline to follow. What I really like about this is Reynolds is like kind of quietly been the safety blanket, kind of been like the like behind the scenes dependable wide receiver 3 all year long for the Lions. And I think that skill set's really going to translate on the biggest stage when it matters the most, especially in a game with the 50-point total where there's going to be passing opportunities galore. So up until week 17, which is, every relevant week, I'm not counting last week's data, even though it actually would get better for Reynolds, it doesn't even matter. They're trying to get him incentive. 30 of his 35 catches were for first downs. I mean, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. And that shows you, right, 30 of his 35 catches were first downs. That shows you exactly what the coaching staff thinks of him. It's like when the moment is big, when we need a dependable pass catcher, and Amon-Ra St. Brown's got 4 guys on him, this is who the fuck we're going to look to, right? And he's been fantastic, and he's been extremely reliable in that role. Another one of those guys, underrated blocker out there as well. You got to earn those minutes at all times possible. And now we have Sam Laporta coming off the field as well. If you remember, Josh Reynolds was very involved early in the season. I bet him in the first week of the season. We cashed that one right there, had a couple more on him, but his role, it faltered a little bit in the midseason, right? When we saw Sam Laporta really kind of prosper. And then now we've seen Jameson Williams added to that as well. Jameson Williams is going to be involved. He's going to be running routes. But at the end of the day, right, when we take out a key weapon right here, right, and we're in a heavy passing game environment, I mean, I like I said, with the dependability factor with his usage so far, I would call Reynolds the wide receiver 2 over Jameson Williams. They'll be splitting snaps, so it'll be pretty close in the end. But to me, I think Williams is going to be the guy that he's like the sexier prospect. He's fast as hell. He's unproven. He runs 40-yard routes. He can't catch sometimes. He doesn't really run routes. He kind of runs straight down the field. Like when I'm comparing these guys, right, when I'm looking at how they're used, to me, Reynolds is so clearly the player I want to bet on when it matters the most, right? When the lights are the brightest. And I have a little bit of a different philosophy too about how they're going to attack this game. I think the Lions are going to be a little bit more run heavy than people may expect. I still think we have a ton of offense, but I actually think it may be a little surprising to people that maybe we see some heavy Montgomery, some heavy Gibbs off the gate. But to me, Josh Reynolds is a guy that really, capitalizes off the play action. He capitalizes off those one-on-one looks down the field. And he's a guy that's been over 15 yards per reception all year long. The ADOT has been a little up and down all year long, but for the vast part of the season, he's had an ADOT over 11. So he's seeing downfield targets. He's been dependable with them. I really like this opportunity right here. And I do see Laporta trending towards playing. Listen. I mean, come on. Like, if he plays, no, there's not a single person on earth that's betting that over. Like, look at that injury. Even if he can play through the pain, I mean, that's distraction in the purest sense of the word. Like, if Laporta gets out there and he plays 40% of the snaps, like, I don't think that affects this bet that much. If we're talking about full health Sam Laporta, I think maybe this line should be 15.5, right? A 1 point difference, right? But come on. I mean, with Laporta just had, if he's anything more than a pure distraction out there, if he suits up, I would be shocked.
No, and that's going to kind of go right into mine as well. And we can talk about it a little bit more after I finish mine up, because I think we'll be talking about a lot of the same stuff. And I'm going to my Amon-Ra St. Brown one here as well. Dude, I'm telling you right now, there's no way. There's no way he's playing. And if he does, it's probably like a couple routes, and they're not even going to be full speed routes. Like, dude, that was disgusting, bro. Like, it looked bad. Yep. It's a week. It's not like these guys got to buy, right? That's the thing, is it's right away, right? That's why those bye weeks are so important for these teams. I don't know if you know this, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is actually averaged over, excuse me, I don't know why I'm all over the place right now breathing here. He's averaging over 7 catches per game at home this year. And you go to his other ones, he's only played 7 home games. He's over 100 yards per game at home games right now. This dude is an absolute wagon there because Jared Goff, doesn't suck at home, right? He plays pretty well at home, and when he's in that spot, I think it's going to be really important for them to get him established, right? Obviously, he had that little mini scare with the ribs last week, but he was good. Went for 144. I do like to see that he does have that big play upside. He hasn't had those big plays coming in these the last 6 weeks or so. He had a couple games in the middle there where he was 40, 45 on 2 longest receptions. Went for a 70 on a broken coverage against Minnesota, which was good to see that he does have that big play ability still. I just think he's going to have to be the focal point here in that passing game. I understand Reynolds is going to be that number 2 spot, but it is 1 way up here and then 2 is way down there when it comes down to crunch time with Jared Goff. Where's he going? You saw him when they needed a big play to tie that game up against the Cowboys. Immediately, he didn't look at anybody else. He goes right to Amon-Ra. Obviously, his catch numbers are just absolutely ridiculous with Jared Goff, and I can't get away from Amon-Ra on this spot, especially with – I know you mentioned the run game. I just don't think Montgomery's going to be able to do too much in this game, at all. I think Gibbs could if he can get to the outside of these guys, but you're running into probably the best defensive player in the last 10 years in Aaron Donald up the middle. He's still there, all pro again this year, right? This dude is still, even when he doesn't put up the numbers, you have to have 2 guys on him at all times, obviously allowing those linebackers to fill. I'm a believer in Amon-Ra. I told you already, he's 50% owned in my best ball in all of these. I'm going to continue to roll with him. I think this is a tough spot, but I'm going to Stafford there. Hit this in 5 straight games. They've been in playoff mode for 5 weeks in a row, 4 weeks in a row. You got to win them. And in that time, he went for 279 against Cleveland, 294 against Baltimore. I don't count Washington, but yes, he did hit that. And then 2 300 games in those last 2. You're starting to see what they're trying to do. I understand that the Lions are a good run defense, which is just going to be really, really tough for Kyrian. Maybe you start seeing him get a little bit more involved in the passing game there because you want to get the ball in his hands. But when you have 3 skilled position players like Kyrian, Kupp, and Nacua, and we can't run the ball, I want to bet on all 3 of them. And so I'm going to roll with Stafford because that's usually what I think about because it's going to one guy. Nacua could go for 150. Kupp goes for 60. I bet on Kupp, I lose. Guess what? Stafford's still going to get us there in the end. So I really like this spot. Amon-Ra has been good to us. Been a fan of the show. Dominant at home. Stafford going back to Detroit. What better storyline could you ask for? I think he's going to show out here back in Detroit.
Yeah, I really like this combination. If you haven't seen already, I put out Stafford 267 passing yards and over 1.5 touchdowns. And I haven't re-upped on a bet this year where the lines moved, because I just don't like that as a practice. If I bet 267, why would I then want to rebet 273? But this is one of the few bets where I really do want to do it. I want to bet even more on Stafford. I think the way I'll do it is just three touchdowns, a little bit on 300 yards, a little bit on 320 yards. I think the opportunity is so good for Stafford. And I wrote a bunch of stuff. You can go read that if you want. But I really do think it boils down to exactly what you said of we're talking about advantageous matchups across the board, right? On the outside, full confidence in both Kupp and Nacua to win those matchups. Additionally, a guy no one's talking about, Robinson is running full wide receiver 3 routes, getting 60, 70 yards a game now. He's a fully involved wide receiver 3. And I understand why people aren't betting on him because you have the other 2 guys in front of you. But you can make logical cases for all of these guys. Obviously, you have Kyron Williams who can make stuff happen as a running back and as a receiving back as well. Higbee as a tight end. There's a lot of different options here. So I love Stafford in this game. I'm really not scared of, obviously, the passing defense of the Lions. And then, Amon-Ra with Laporta, 60 receiving yards was one of our favorite lines of the year all year, right? As a parlay piece, because he so consistently gets to that safe floor. And then we know he has the wide receiver 1 upside on top of that. So love this combination. Love both these guys.
Yeah. And I think we're going to end up talking about what these guys are saying in the chat here. You notice the games that we're playing here are dome games, and you adjusted your Josh Allen one to the weather there. We have a lot of stuff coming up here talking about these. Are you willing to take unders on guys in those games, or are you just fully avoiding them and looking towards the rushing props?
I'm definitely into taking unders. The problem is the lines are so caught up. There's no value at all. It's clearly priced into it. I mean, we're talking about guys in both games that are like 30 yards, 40 yards under where they've been in past comparable situations. So for me, it really kind of depends. I would say the one I'm legitimately scared of, surprisingly, is the Kansas City Miami game, because like I don't know how to handicap a game where it's like the players could get frostbite. You know what I mean? Like this is one of those games. The analysts I follow, which have been incredibly dependable, are saying this is on track to be one of the coldest games of all time, right? When you talk about the wind chill, when you talk about all the stuff like that. So for me, like I see everyone running to Pacheco as the number one example. Like I like Pacheco. I mean, I love Pacheco every week. He's going to have an elite. How do I balance that with the fact that we're talking about sub-zero temperatures? Like if we're long offensive drives, are we seeing more CEH, even if they don't want to, just to like protect the guys, you know, to keep them out there? I mean, everyone talks about Pacheco. Everyone in every single write-up I've seen says like, try tackling this guy regularly. Now imagine tackle him in the cold. Well, imagine getting hit like that in the cold too at like sub one, you know, I don't know. It's just like such a weird situation that like I see so many people running to Pacheco, and like logically, like I would love to bet Pacheco this week without the weather, just with the situation, with the opportunity without McKinnon. But like, I feel like the lines have kind of caught up with the weather stuff, and we don't even know. The weather still has time to move. And now we're even seeing reports that the NFL is considering moving some of these games, which like, how does that even work? You know what I mean? It's one of those ridiculous things where like there's a lot of factors at play. So for me, I'm really kind of trying to avoid overs in general. I really want to play Gabe Davis under. I'm sad he's injured. That was something I was really excited for. Obviously, I'm sad he's injured in general, but like I was really looking forward to that spot right there. But like Diggs now, he's pretty much like 4.5 now. Like how am I supposed to bet 4.5 receptions under on Stephon Diggs? Like 4 of them could be behind the line of scrimmage. We've seen Josh Allen in the cold throw the ball multiple times. He did it in that Patriots game where the Patriots didn't throw once, and then he did it again in that Bengals playoff game where he still threw the ball like 30 times and they got their ass beat in the snow. So it's scary. The lines are baked in. I would say live props, there's going to be a lot of opportunity, but if you really have to have a steadfast rule, I think it would just be like in general rushing over, passing under, and kind of go with that.
Yeah, I don't think I can bet the unders on the lines that they're at. The only reason I say that is I need to know if in that Kansas City game, is it going to be snowing too? Because the wind isn't going to be as effective in how big Arrowhead is and how wide. I don't think it's going to have as much of effect on that spot with how, like, if you just look at Arrowhead as a bowl, dude, I don't think it's going to have as much with like how much wind it is. But we've also seen, didn't they just play Skylar Thompson in the cold last year? And it was like -5 or -10. And they still, I'm pretty sure that scored like 50 something points in that game. I'll have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it was negative degrees in that one too, where Miami played Kansas City, and it was in a cold game. I'll have to check.
Yeah, I'm not remembering specifically, but that's the thing. It's always like weather could obviously have adverse effects on both sides right here. My worry is just like thinking that the weather isn't baked into these numbers of like when you look at it, like it is clearly, I mean, like George Pickens, he's like 30 receiving yards. You know what I mean? Deontay Johnson, kind of same category. It's like these props are just kind of, they're hard to bet right now. And to be honest, like Buffalo, Pittsburgh, I see the snow. I think that's more predictable. We have more historical examples. Like the Kansas City, Miami one's the more confusing one of like, it doesn't seem like the weather is even terrible. It's just the cold part that is like freaking everybody out, and the lines have moved accordingly. So I would really only be looking at like short yardage targets. Like I think Dalton Kincaid is someone you could probably bet on. I'm waiting for Dawson Knox lines if we get any. I think you could bet on dump downs for guys like James Cook, obviously for guys like Pacheco, but I'd really be looking for short yardage passing only. Any deeper developing routes is to me when it gets a little bit scary.
What's your thought on Tyreek this week then?
I mean, I actually don't even know what his lines are right now. I haven't bet on Tyreek. I don't plan on betting on Tyreek. So I don't know. It's a tough matchup. Let's see. His line is 82.5 receiving yards right now is what I'm seeing. I would probably go receptions, if anything. 6.5 receptions is -130. Yeah, I'm probably not interested. I don't see Miami sustaining drives very well. I think they lose the time of possession battle pretty badly in this game. Just their defensive injuries obviously have kind of clobbered them. Like, I don't know. I really don't think I'm going to have any Miami bets. Maybe a chain. I did it to myself last week. I lost, but the lack of receiving usage for a chain was like mind blowing. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's something that they're going to acknowledge and go back to the drawing board and try to get him some design touches. But it's tricky, man.
Yeah, no, definitely a spot here that I'm just going to not touch anything in that game. And it sucks because it's such a fun game for props that it could have been,
Yeah. Yeah. It literally could have been the game of the week easily. I think that would be like what everyone would be excited for. But now, I mean, it's probably going to be maybe the most boring game of the week, right? So we'll see what happens with the weather. Obviously, we're both going to be trying to locked in, see the most updated stuff possible and get it to you guys. But we're still a couple days out. So this obviously could look really silly in a couple days as well.
Sounds good. Let's go through a quick recap here. I don't see anybody dropping any questions or anything in there outside of that Kansas City game, stuff like that. Yeah, maybe today we'll bring back our touchdown parlay. We'll bring our touchdown parlay back maybe. Let's do our quick recap here.
Sounds good. Started out in the offensive game. We're going Josh Reynolds. Longest reception over 16.5, minus 114 on FanDuel is your best price. Then we got Josh Allen over 8.5 rush attempts, minus 110 on ESPN is actually your best price right now. And then minus 128 over on FanDuel is also, very good price as well. So like I said, get to this before it's 9.5. We already see Bet365 at 9.5. Caesars is like minus 160. It's going to happen by game day. So definitely try to, act relatively quickly.
Sounds good. I'll be on staff for 250. Amon-Ra 60 in a same game parlay over on FanDuel. It's still sitting at minus 113. And we're going to my boy Jordan Love over 22.5 completions. I would take that minus 130 on FanDuel if you can get it. If it gets to anything higher than plus 105, I will roll with that for 23.5. I think that's a better price. I don't know if I want to pay just straight even money on a spot like that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I love those spots, though. I'm super excited for Love. He's been cashing for us in the second half of the year, man.
Yes, sir. It's been fun. It's been a pleasant surprise when everybody's not thinking they were going to be good this year, and me included after the first 5-6 weeks. But shout out them for showing out, and I want to give a shout out. I'll get my rant of the week out of here. Richard Sherman, you're a piece of shit, bro. Talking shit on the Packers. Like, he's like, oh, no one's afraid of them. Well, no shit, bro. They're not even supposed to be there, bro. Like, no shit. Like, what are you thinking, man? Like, they were not a playoff team. They're not. I don't even think they really are supposed to be now. But yes, Jordan Love's showing out. He's saying, oh, nobody's afraid of them. Well, dude, they're a 7 seed, bro. No shit. No one's, like, what are you going with here? Like, and now it's just blowing up everything on my phone on this stuff. And people are like, oh, what do you think about this? I'm like, well, I also think that his show sucks. I don't watch him. There's a reason why I don't watch him. The only person I like listening to is Dan Orlovsky, bro. That dude's a fucking savage. I love that guy. He's like the only guy I actually listen to for actual takes now, because everything else just kind of sucks. I listened to it was Sherman, Acho, and Shady McCoy, and that might have been the worst thing I've ever heard. And I just willingly put it on. I had it on my fantasy or whatever on my Sirius XM, and that comes on. I'm like, who pays for this? Like, who is paying these people money to make people's ears bleed? I'm like, how are these people allowed to do this? Like, this is horrible. It was by far the worst experience I've had of listening to anyone. And I consume a lot of content. And for me to say that you are the worst, that is very impressive. Like, very impressive. Definitely the worst thing I've ever listened to. Don't listen to them. It was really bad.
Yeah, I've never heard of that or the clip, but I'm not surprised at all. And that the combination, I mean, Acho is obviously hilarious. He's like been known to be hilarious. And then Shady McCoy, he's been saying some
worst I've ever
stuff
heard.
over. Like, it looks like he never had any media training, because he truly just goes out there and just says random stuff. It's pretty funny.
It's just like, dude, what are you saying? Like, there's no facts. And I'm like, he's trying to like defend all of his like old teammates and coaches. He's like, oh yeah, Andy Reid this, Andy Reid that, and then he's trying to like, come on, like, just let it go, bro. You don't have to argue everything here. Just fucking agree and we'll be good. Like, they were talking about Belichick, and then he's like, I still think Andy Reid's up there with him. I'm like, bro, nobody's up there with Belichick yet. Yeah, like, nobody is. Nobody. He's literally that many. It's just like, oh, man, Shady McCoy, please, someone fire his ass. Jesus, fire him, man. He's got enough money. Just fire him.
No arguments here.
Yeah, and that's as an Eagles fan. Yeah, almost makes me hate Sirianni even more just because he's even there. But I already hate Sirianni, so it's all right. All right, Stu, let's get a touchdown parlay going. Let's go.
All right. I mean, I'll start it off. I like David Njoku. Plus 180 on FanDuel is currently the price. So they caught up a little bit. I would like if it was plus 200, plus 225, our normal like tight end kind of sweet spot, but they caught up obviously. But I mean, I think this is a good matchup. I like Cleveland in this game. You can actually get Cleveland at -1.5 right now instead of -2.5, which actually is pretty solid at -110 on ESPN. So I like Cleveland in this game, to be honest. I think their defense is going to be really strong. I think we're going to have scoring opportunities on both sides. I mean, the total is kind of showing itself, right? 44.5 with two strong defenses like this is showing that they still believe there's going to be points. I love that Flacco, even when he is scoring, he's also throwing 2 picks to let the other team get in scoring position. It's truly like amazing gunslinger football. But what I like the most about Njoku is, I mean, we've seen his role like torpedo, or I guess the opposite of torpedo. I guess most people say that negatively.
Upward torpedo.
Yeah, there we go. Straight upward torpedo. I'm going to try to make that my new thing, I guess. I don't know. But it's been through the roof ever since Flacco took over. And when we look in particular, right, to something I mentioned on my Sunday show, and one of the reasons why I like the Browns is this is a Houston defense that's been really strong on the year, been one of the better run defenses on the season, haven't allowed a single rusher over 60 yards outside of last week, or so, I believe something like that. It's something crazy. It might have been 100 yards with Jonathan Taylor being the first guy to go over that last week. But where this defense actually really struggled on the Houston side is against play action. They've been really, really bad against play action. One of the worst teams in football against play action. I think that's where Njoku specifically takes advantage. I think we like that we can see the touchdown from outside of the red zone with the tight end. That's not very common anymore as well. So I really think we're going to have plenty of opportunities here.
Yeah, dude. I still can't believe they're giving Pierre Strong a better opportunity of scoring a touchdown than David Njoku. Pierre Strong is plus 170 is looking at on here.
Yeah, I don't want that. That's a pass for me.
What is this, bro? Like, that's crazy. I wanted to take Jaden Reed. Can't do that anymore. He's only plus 150, plus 160. I've been hitting that at like plus 200s, 250s. God damn, they're gonna make me do it. I don't like ever going, in the negatives for touchdowns. But how do I not bet on Rachaad White to score a touchdown this week?
Yeah, I mean the number one argument to that would simply be, in my opinion, like injury. Like I feel like that game could just be a shit show. Like Baker looked hurt. Like what's his name? Hurts looked hurt. Like, is there just going to be like no points scored in this game? Is kind of my concern, because I want to bet on Baker. Like I want to bet on Rachaad White already. I want to already have those bets in my account right now. I'm just a little bit scared with like everyone seems to be hurt, like both quarterbacks. I don't know, that's the one thing that does worry me a little bit about that game.
I do want to bet Rachaad White. I probably will. I think I might just make that a straight one. I'm going to probably bet Cooper Kupp. He's at plus 105 in that same game. Obviously, I've been talking about Stafford a lot. We're going to have, I think, for you, I'm assuming Njoku you took on FanDuel.
Yeah, I took on FanDuel.
Okay, so I have plus 105 for Kupp. It's going to get us to plus 460 as a total here.
If you build it on ESPN, you get 560 right now. That's the best price on market. If you build it and pick it, you can get them to compare. So 560 is over on ESPN. Then you got 494 on DK. And then you got 460 on FanDuel. So shout out to our pick it guys, code PTP if you're not over there already. But yeah, definitely love this combination right here. Like I said, ESPN, if you're not hip, by the way, right now, it's been posted a couple times. Like ESPN's like smoking everyone in odds right now. It's very easy to get limited over there. So, if you're a big bettor, it's not going to be as plentiful for you. But like they're smoking people in odds right now. So if you don't, I'm just saying, I know a lot of people watch the show and they go like, listen, I only have FanDuel. I don't have time for anything else. Like, I know you guys talk about line shopping, but this is real life. Fuck off. I get that argument. I completely understand. Life is life. ESPN should be your book right now, especially if you have FanDuel. You can already do all the parlays. Like, they're crushing it in terms of odds if you're a player prop guy. So definitely a little PSA for anyone that's not, already familiar with that.
We're not familiar with your game, bro. We're not familiar with your game. Did you see that Barstool? I got to bring this up because it's funny. Before we get out of here, 40 minutes, pretty good. 31 viewers. Hit that like button, guys. We've been over 60 likes on the show, over 1,000 views these last couple shows. Let's get it back up there. Hopefully we can get up to 75, maybe close to 100. I think we could. No, I did. I had to bring this up because I saw it and I'm like, dude, this is so dumb. Because Grayson Allen, did you see that thing at the game where Emma Stone walked through?
Yes.
Bro, she waved, and I'm like looking at this. I'm like, bro, he's not even looking at Grayson Allen.
Yeah.
Like, it literally just moved the camera this far over. And I'm like, Grayson Allen was a buck, bro. He ain't got that game. He ain't got that game like that.
No, because I was shocked when I first saw that. But you're right. The comments called it out. Like, he's not even looking. He's just raising his arm. He's like stretching or whatever. It's to fucking Booker. But honestly, if you're Grayson Allen and you're waking up to all of social media thinking you're that guy, perfect. Like, he played that perfectly. You know what I mean? So shout out to Allen. He was the most hated guy in the internet like 8 years ago when he was tripping people and shit. Like, everyone.
On the Bucks too. He was.
Yeah, true. He started a couple NBA fights as well. I forgot, but man, it's good to see him making a comeback down there. Yeah, that's a hilarious video.
I just had to bring that up just because I saw that. I'm like, bro, literally move the camera this far over. And Book's literally like, I'm like, bro, what are we doing here, bro? What is this shit? All right. Hey, we appreciate you guys. Yeah, let's get up to 30 at least. Let's get up to 30 here. We appreciate dude. Oh, yeah, you're in Wisconsin too, bro. He's out here. He's out here grinding, trying to get through. I don't think I will be in my car once today. I will be an absolute hermit. I'm going to take my dog out to go to the bathroom and run his ass back in here because all of our stuff got canceled at work. Everything, dude. It's so bad. If Kansas City is playing in something like this, it is going to be so crazy, bro. It is going to be so crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's so funny too to me. Like, it's like 40 degrees here. You know what I mean? I'm like, I had no even concept that was going on. You're sending me messages like, oh, we got 8 inches of snow already. It's insane. It's good to have that little East Coast privilege over here because you get that year round pretty much, and we're good to go over here.
Yeah, no, it's just been. We didn't have any. We didn't have any up until what? I don't think we had any snow for about this week. And then we just got hammered with it. So, all right, Stu, what do you got for the people here before we head on out?
Yeah, I forgot to promo it earlier, but if you're still sticking with us and you're here today, tune into VSiN at 4 p.m. later. I'll be on VSiN for the first time ever, making my debut, be talking NFL props, some of what we talked here, but also probably have some like NFL future player long shots. I don't know if you've seen like some of these to have the most rushing yards, have the most touchdowns. I think we'll probably chat some of that stuff. I think that could be really fun. So hopefully you guys tune in with me there. I'll send out, a tweet whenever that happens to give you another reminder, but my first time over there should be some fun. So definitely that's really all I got to plug today. I already have a couple props up on Twitter. If you're not following already, already have some 1-unit plays out there. Going to be a busy week. Hopefully a really good one.
Yes, sir. I'll be joining, I believe, Brad. I'll be popping over by Brad for the Bankroll Blitz stuff there. Probably talking some of the props we talked here, but I'll have an extra one over there as well. All right, so before you go, got to get this on record. What is your Super Bowl prediction?
Like both teams or just the winner? Interesting.
Oh, I want both teams, bro.
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't thought about it actually that much, surprisingly. I feel like it's just going to be chalk, so I'll try to pick something else. I'll say Cowboys, and I'll say Ravens, and that's what it's going to be. And who's going to win that game? That would be a fucking awesome Super Bowl. I think my prediction is the Ravens. I do have a ticket on them from before the season. It's not that much, obviously, so it doesn't really matter that much. But, like, that's the team that I've kind of believed in all year long. I'm pretty close to Baltimore. Like, I want them to seal the deal. I think they can beat anyone on any given day. I don't think you can say that for all these playoff teams. And I think the Cowboys on the other side, I think this first test will be a little bit more interesting than people think. But I mean, defense wins championships, and people aren't even talking about the fact that Dak has been the MVP this year from a passing perspective as well. So I think that could be a really fun game. And I think, hey, Cowboys can go far.
I thought I was gonna be the one talking Cowboys in here, bro. I actually do have Cowboys in mind, but I have the Bills on the other side. I took the Bills over there. Yeah. I don't like anything else. I don't like the Chiefs. If the Chiefs have to travel to Buffalo, I think they're gonna get rocked out there because every one of those games has been in Kansas City when they matched up in the playoffs, right? They've been in Kansas City. This is the first time in a while Mahomes has had to go on the road here and start traveling after this week. He's going to be traveling on the road for a playoff game. I think that's going to make a little bit of a difference. I will say, asterisk, I might lean more towards the Ravens if we can see Mark Andrews actually come back and play. Yeah. If they can run 2 tight end sets and not have to deal with these crap receivers that they got out there, bro, oh my God. Like, just run Likely as a receiver, bro. I don't need to watch any more of this Rashad Bateman bullshit. I'm done with that. We don't need that. The fact that guy's going to be on a Super Bowl contending team is a joke. So if Mark Andrews comes back, I think it's going to be a lot tougher, but I would go Bills, Cowboys as well. I'm rolling Cowboys too. That's why I said I wanted them to play the Lions. I wanted the Packers to play the Lions and get those boys out. I know they can win there. They've already beat them down there. But I don't think they're beating Cowboys in Jerry World, bro. They ain't beating the Cowboys here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we're on the same page. For me, Bills kind of like, it's tougher because I see it, but I don't know, man. Like, Bills and the Chiefs both feel the same to me of like, we're betting so much on like the name value. Like I know they're both good teams, right? But like, to me, I agree. The Chiefs, no chance. I'm not betting the Chiefs. Like, even if their defense is good, better than people expect, that's fine. But like, if their best offensive weapon is now a rookie who runs 5-yard yak routes on every play, then like we've got a problem. And I love Mahomes more than most people. So it'll be interesting. I think Allen could beat any team in the world, and I think he can lose to any team in the world. If he told me they won the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be surprised. If he told me they lost to the Steelers this week, I also wouldn't be surprised. It's one of those teams. So I hope so. I hope they get some respect because I was putting them as, the best team in the league earlier in the year, and people were killing me for it. So I hope I can certainly quote tweet those in the end and see who's laughing.
Yeah, no, if the Bills didn't win last week, no chance.
Yeah,
if they're going to get me full, they're going to get me. The only time they're traveling is if it's to Baltimore, then it's mano-a-mano, those two against each other, bro. Then yes. But since they won there, they're the 2. That makes a huge fucking difference, bro. Huge difference. So I think it's hilarious that we both have the Cowboys and my team's playing the Cowboys and your team is in the same division as the Cowboys. But I thought I was going to have to sell you on it. I'm happy I don't got to sell you on it, man.
Yeah, it's a little surprising for myself as well. But hey, I think it's never as simple as people think it is. I think that's an easy way to chalk it up. And, I don't know. I don't know if San Francisco's the team of destiny this year. I don't know if I'm buying that.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for tuning in. Still 30 of you in here. Hey, on your way out, just hit that like button. Let's get that up to 30 like we said. We're trying to get that up there. Help the algorithm out. Help us out on the way there as well. Go check out Stu live today on VSiN. I'll be over. I don't know what we're doing, if it's live or not. I just know I'm talking some props, which I just said yes to. So we're ready to go when that happens. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck. Feeling great about these plays. Make sure you check those out, and we'll obviously have more content coming out on the YouTube channel here shortly. So have a good one, guys, and good luck this weekend.